Okay,
Okay,
so
so
can we
can we
start?
start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
before we
before we
begin,
begin,
first
first
question
question
I would
I would
like to
like to
ask
ask
is
is
there
there
have
have
been
been
speculations, there
speculations,
have
there
been
have been
rumors, and
rumors, and
sources are
sources are
not
not
really
really
reliable,
reliable,
but
but
are
are
you
you
the
the
in-game
in-game
leader
leader
for
for
EG
EG
right
right
now?
now?
Correct. I am the in-game leader for EG right now.
You
You
are.
are.
Okay,
Okay,
Yep.
that's
that's
good to
good to
know.
know.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
starting
starting
off,
off,
like
like
Happy New
Happy New
Year,
Year,
2024,
2024,
New
New
Year,
Year,
new
new
you.
you.
So
So and
everyone has
everyone has
expectations
expectations
for
for
this
this
new
new
EG
EG
team.
team.
So
So
I would
I would
like to
like
know
to know
what
what
are
are
your
your
expectations
expectations
heading
heading
into
into
this
this
season
season
in
in
2024.
2024.
I mean, to win as much as possible, to be honest. I feel like this year was kind of weird for like pretty much every team because a lot of the really good teams got their team very late on in this, like the end of the season, the off season rather. So I feel like not many teams have like over practiced more than even like some of the teams that just started. We started, beginning of January with Derek, since we had lost our calm, and then we got Derek. So we started like beginning of January. I feel like we kind of started with everybody else anyway. So I feel like our expectations are to still qualify for Madrid and qualify for all the other events. Nothing less.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Now
I would
I would
like to
like
know
to know
your
your
thoughts
thoughts
on
on
the
the
new
new
schedule and
schedule
the
and the
new
new
format
format
of
of
this
this
season.
season.
Like
Like
there,
there
we
we
have
have
like first
first
there's
there's
going to
going to
be
be
this
this
America's
America's
kickoff
kickoff
tournament.
tournament.
Then
Then
you'll
you'll
have
have
Yep.
Madrid.
Madrid.
Then
Then
another.
another.
Then the
Then the
full
full
season will
season will
start. So,
start.
what
So
are
what
your
are your
thoughts
thoughts
on this
on
new
this new
format and
format
the
and the
scheduling
scheduling
around this
around this
format?
format?
I feel like I'm like off and on. I think like the Madrid, like just the qualifier in general is a little different. I would have much rather had like the playoffs where it's not single limb, because those teams I think deserve double limb, but other than that, like it's okay. They always try to do like different type of style events and stuff like that. So I mean, they're just trying it out. So it's not like the worst thing in the world for me. For the regular season, I feel like a lot of us players are pretty happy because the games aren't so early. Seems like they're going to be run a little later, and I think that's like where we all catch our W's as players, is that we're down to have like early afternoon games instead of like more in the morning. Other than that, the schedule from what I've been told, it's probably pretty similar to how the first split was ran. So I think it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
A
A
bit of
bit of
a
a
generalized
generalized
question.
question
Like,
like
do you
do
have
you have
anything
anything
special
special
planned for
planned for
this
this
season?
season?
Like, do
Like,
you
do
have
you have
specific
specific
stats or
stats or
things
things
like
like
that in
that in
mind?
mind?
Like
Like
special
special
comps
comps
or
or
maybe
maybe
something
something
that you
that you
can
can
use to
use to
put
put
your
your
opponents
opponents
off
off
kilter?
kilter?
I feel like everybody, especially after like the Sky nerfs and everything, is gonna bring stuff that's not been seen before, especially in last year. So I think yes, that's probably all I would say. But I feel like everybody has that right now. Like there will be off-branded comps from pretty much every team playing this year.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
now
now so
I'm
I'm
going to
going to
move
move
into a
into a
section
section
that is
that is
going to
going to
focus
focus
specifically
specifically
on
on
you.
you.
So
So
I've
I
as
as
far as
far
I
as
know,
I
you
know,
have
you have
not
not
played with
played with
any of
any of
these
these
players.
players.
Like,
Like,
uh, sorry,
sorry,
I
I
actually have
actually
a
have a
stutter.
stutter.
So,
So,
uh,
yeah,
as
You're
far
as
as
far
fine.
I
as
know,
I
Yeah.
know,
you
you
haven't
haven't
played with
played with
any of
any of
these
these
players
players
before
before
coming
coming
into
into
EG.
EG.
So,
So,
being
being
thrust
thrust
into
into
this
this
new
new
roster as
roster
an
as an
IGL,
IGL,
how do
how
you
do you
manage to
manage to
adapt to
adapt
the
to the
play
play
style of
style
your
of your
teammates?
teammates?
Has it
Has
been
it
an
been an
easy
easy
road or
road or
has it
has
been
it
a
been a
bumpy
bumpy
road,
road,
or
or
is
is
there
there
some
some
kind of
kind of
balance that
balance
you
that
have
you have
managed to
managed to
find in
find in
between?
between?
Uh, there's definitely a balance with like within the team and how I got used to playing with them. I feel like it wasn't very hard at all. Just because we are five good individual players, can do a lot of things individually. We just, the bumps in the road is making sure that we're on the same page for the most part. I don't really think that we've had many issues like once we've talked about it, like getting on the same page in certain situations. I feel like a lot of teams are kind of like buying into the system of you have like an idea for the round and how it's going to play out, but people do their own individual stuff. And that's kind of how Valorant has turned into for a lot of the squad. So it's a little bit easier for me to go into this team uh, as long as I have trust in all the players, and I do. So it's been pretty good so far.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
it's
it's
not the
not the
same
same
EG
EG
roster as
roster as
last
last
year,
year,
but
but you still have
you
you
still
still
have
have
sorry,
sorry,
even though it's not the same roster as last year, you still have Jogamo on your team. So does that put some kind of pressure on your head that, I'm playing on EG, I have Potter and Jogamo on my team. So does that put a little bit of pressure for you to hold on to that championship trophy like 2 times back to back, even though it's not the same team, just one player and one coach?
Even if I have Joel or Potter, even if I had 3 or 4 of them, I feel like this game changes so much that no, I don't really have pressure on me. I also feel like the public kind of makes us at EG not really have pressure because and there's some definitely mixed feelings. So it's like there's not like a million people saying like, oh, this team has to win again this year, right? So there's not really pressure from that end. I don't really feel pressure for myself. If anything, like I'd be okay with it. Like it's my job to take care of it, right? Like the pressure and bring us all the way up. So not really. I mean, I'm just glad to have them, right? They've been in situations that were, their season almost ended with them doing nothing, and then they went all the way to the top. So those types of situations are stuff that we can like be provided now as the 4 new players, having those two like know what the bottom feels like and then rise up.
Okay, so like you mentioned the underdog run that EG had. So you feel that it is easier now that you have like the experiences of Jaw and Potter, that it helps the team, right?
Oh, 100%. I think it helps the team, especially like Joel in game. He's gonna be the vibe guy for sure. He's been under multiple pressuring situations on stage and stuff like that. We have, 8 that hasn't even played on stage really, so having a player like that is really nice. I have my games on stage, but just a few. So for him to have that amount of experience is like really, really important.
You mentioned your stage experience. So you've played in teams like TSM and Gen Z, and even a brief stint in 100 Thieves, as short as it may have been during off season. So do you like, were you the IGL in any of these teams? And I have a follow-up question after that.
Okay, so IGL, not really on TSM. I did it just for a few days, but I was mid-rounding for the majority of the time there. And then GMD or Hayes were both IGLs. But I would always mid-round, I always give my input, no matter what. Gen G, no, I was IGL after the roster when I was on stage. But I did it for like probably 8 months after LCQ, when we got rid of Kusta. 100 Thieves, I IGL'd for the sub incorrect on stage.
Okay, so with all of that experience under your belt, how do you think this current roster, you've obviously played your games with this roster, so how do you think they are different in like, they are different, uh, like how do you think they adapt, like based on your previous experiences, like separate from TSM, different from 100 Thieves? How do you think this team adapts and acclimatizes to your calling and your strategies?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, she came in. How are they different? I feel like it's a bit of a hard question. I feel like if I would say like how they were different to my time at Gen G, I feel like we tried to do very, very structured stuff, and it was hard for some of the players to like fall key by key. And I feel like I kind of learned in my time with 100 Thieves, especially since I was the full color, that a much looser style worked for a lot more players. And then I feel like the players that we kind of picked up are, like I said, are very, very good individually, but they also come very, very well in their individual spots. So I am the main caller, but kind of what like strides us different is there are a lot of people that are willing to call the round for me, or willing to like, we listen on both sides of the map, which is something that sounds so basic, but can be very, very difficult in times. So that would be like probably the one thing that would stand out with the squad.
Okay, and you also mentioned like you were mid-round calling in the past. So do you still do that, or have you handed off that responsibility to someone else entirely? Or like, do you still play the central leader role of the team, or is it a bit more divided now?
I'd probably say I'm majority, and then the rest of them will give their rounds, or like if they have a play, like they will take over the round 100%. but yeah, majority is probably me for mid rounding.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
now
now
moving
moving
on
on
to
to
like
like
the
the
in-game
in-game
questions.
questions.
So
So
I
I
would
would
like
like
to
to
know
know
your
your
thoughts
thoughts
first and
first and
foremost
foremost
on
on
the
the
new
new
map
map
pool.
pool.
So
So
Haven
Haven
and
and
Pearl
Pearl
being
being
moved
moved
out,
out,
and
and
what are
what
your
are your
thoughts
thoughts
on
on
that?
that?
Any
Any
like any of
any
your
of your
comps
comps
have
have
changed,
changed,
any of
any
your
of your
strategies
strategies
have
have
changed,
changed,
your
your
map
map
picks and
picks and
whatnot?
whatnot.
Well, not to say too much, I'll talk about the maps being taken out. I think Haven is a pretty insane takeout. I think the map is definitely needed to take out, but it's a pretty big like pillar of a map. You know, like if I think about the map pool, I would always think Haven is in it. So it's definitely a big change for a lot of the teams. A lot of the teams were very, very good on it because they had so many reps on it. So as a new team to be able to take that map out feels really, really nice. Also, we didn't really like the map's like okay for us. Like we didn't really like it that much. So that was a big, a pretty big change. Along with like Pearl, it's been out for so long that like I don't really like it's like so. I feel like Haven was like the biggest change for us. Uh, and it was a positive change for a lot of us. We were like, oh, okay, we're down. We haven't done like too much on this, so we're okay with it. Other than that, like our map pool and stuff changing, it's not like not insane. I feel like every single team, we still have a couple weeks before we even play. A lot of these teams have started from so far back, so like most people are playing all the maps. Like they don't really have like a perma ban right now.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
those
those
are the
are the
maps that
maps
have
that have
been
been
taken
taken
out. But
out. But
what
what
now?
now?
What are
What are
your
your
thoughts
thoughts
on
on
the
the
remakes of
remakes
the
of the
maps
maps
like
like
Lotus and
Lotus and
Icebox?
Icebox?
Okay. Yeah, Lotus, Breeze, Icebox, the remakes. I mean, I like the majority of them. I think the Breeze remake was, it was okay. The halls change, where like the door was open, I didn't really like that much, but I like that halls wasn't like an open area. They kind of just brought it back for no reason, I thought. So I was like, oh, okay. And now we have to like kind of change the way we play this map again, which is a little bit frustrating. But that's how I feel about the changes. The mid changes weren't like too crazy. I think B is like it gets a little crazy with the crate and like the box in the back and stuff like that. So it's just stuff you have to get used to. Lotus, I like the changes a lot so far. They feel pretty good on both sides, to be honest. I feel like the map isn't like perma attack sided now. I think defense has some like ratty, snaky things that they can do now to win rounds out. So it's pretty nice. Uh, Let me think. Icebox. The change didn't really change the map that much, in my opinion. Like I don't think like any of the changes are too crazy. I guess like people would think about the tube window, but the tube window is just like another like you don't pre-aim anything when you're rotating from spawn as a defender. So now you just have to pre-aim something. I don't think it's like that big of a deal.
Okay,
Okay,
now
now
moving on
moving
to
on to
agent
agent
changes,
changes,
like
like
so
so
the
the
cipher
cipher
buff, the
buff, the
kill
kill
joy nerf,
joiners,
and
and
most
most
recently
recently
the
the
sky
sky
nerf.
nerf.
So
So
do you
do you
think
think
that
that
is
is
going to
going to
affect?
affect
Yeah.
Is it?
is it
I feel like the one change I would talk about. Sorry if you do you have more.
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
no,
You
you
can
can
continue. You
continue,
can
you can
continue. I'll
continue.
ask
I'll
my
ask my
Okay,
question
question
okay.
later.
later.
Go on, go on.
Go on.
Okay. So the one change I'll talk about, the other agent changes, I think like Gecko got a little bit of something too. Not in this most recent one, but like with the new Flash and stuff like that. He's become very, very strong, along with the Sky nerfs are pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. Non-rechargeable utility kind of, I've played my fair bit just in ranked and stuff like that, but it feels very, very bad. Uh, the dog change I thought was like, this happened a few patches ago where like like once you bite, you can't like move it around. I was like, okay, that's like a decent sized nerf, like it's not like the end of the world. The character's still fine, but then the flash nerf really hurt. The automatic popping, I actually think people complain about a little too much because I think you can still fake flash and it's just fine. If anything, there are a lot of times that you like fake flash and then the anti players will peek after you kill the guy that like you fake flash. But now the pop doesn't actually pull your like gun out or anything like that. Kind of like tech, but like people have figured it out, so that's why I don't think it's too bad. You just place your fake flash in areas that will still blind the people that are playing anti. So like the change, you can still outplay people. So I didn't actually mind that change that much, but just in the ability not recharging, I think the character is kind of like D tier now. It's definitely not very good.
as a Sky player myself, I feel you. I completely agree with your sentiment. So, do you think these agent nerfs and buffs, slight buffs only for Cypher, is it going to affect any of your team compositions on EG, or are these changes just like not impactful enough to warrant any changes in your current like strategies and plans?
I wouldn't say, like, I'm not gonna say for sure that it's changing our comps, but I would say that we are exploring like different things because we don't know what's like. Nobody knows for sure what's the best right now because the nerfs kind of happened in like what, maybe it's been a week, and I feel like people are still exploring other stuff. Like every single day we play against a comp, we're like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe it will work. We'll see how it plays against us, right? So I would say like for sure if it's changing our comps or we're changing stuff like that, but we're doing our due diligence and exploring.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you
thank you
very
very
much.
much.
That
That
was
was
my
my
last
last
question
question
for
for
you.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you for
agreeing to
agreeing to
this
this
interview,
interview,
and
and
like
like
hope you
hope
have
you
a
have a
good
good
day
day
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, you too. Have a good day.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Uh,
Uh,
have
have
a
a
great
great
day.
day.